And welcome to Annie Bloom's Books. We are really pleased to have you all here tonight and want to say a big thank you and welcome because it is events like these, it's the authors and poets who come out to speak, it's all of you who come out to hear them that make what we do possible. So we want to say welcome and thank you. We have a couple quick announcements before we get started. The first is that we have a store cat named Molly, who sometimes likes to come out during events and say hi. If she tries
Molly
to,
is already occupied this evening.
She's been introduced. The possibly more exciting announcement, we do have books for sale at the front counter, and they will be for sale after the event as well. I know our poet tonight would be happy to sign copies for you to talk. We don't close until 10 p.m., so there's no rush on yourselves to enjoy the evening. So without further ado, let me introduce our poet tonight, and then we can give a big warm welcome. Shawn Aveningo Sanders grew up in Missouri after a bit of globetrotting, finally landed in Portland, Oregon, where she overcame her fear of birds upon meeting two baby juncos in her backyard. Shawn's work has appeared in over 140 literary journals and anthologies worldwide. Her most recent book, What She Was Wearing, reveals her Me Too story that took over 30 years to reveal. She's a Pushcart nominee, Best of the Net nominee, co-founder of the Poetry Box, as well as managing editor of the Poeming Pigeon, which I've never had more fun saying the name of a journal. Shawn was named Best Female Poet Performer in Sacramento News and Review Reader Poll in 2009 and was winner of the first Poetry Slam in Placerville, California, 2012. Shawn is a proud mother of 3 amazing adults, and she shares the creative life with her husband, Robert. So without further ado, let's give a big warm welcome, Shawn.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Thank you so much. Gosh. Well, I want to thank Annie Blooms for inviting me to share my story and for their continued support of local authors and poets. They're just fabulous. And I really want to thank all of you for coming out tonight in the cold rain, and I'm just kind of blown away. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Tonight's a little different for me than other readings that I've done in the past, and because I'm going to bear it all, and I'm going to share something that happened to me back in April of 1985 on a college campus in Missouri. And unfortunately, it's a story that's way too common for women and men across the country. And it was Saturday night. We were all getting ready to celebrate what had been a fun-filled Greek week. This is where all the fraternities and sororities have a week of competition on academics, athletics, silly sing-alongs and skits, and raising funds for each of our charities. And at the end of the week, it always ends with a big toga party. And there was this guy that I kind of had this crush on, Brad, and he had asked me to the party. And I was on top of the world. The junior in college, life couldn't have been going any better. And I never would have guessed that this night was going to change me forever. I know a girl, her name was Shawn. Hey, lottie, lottie, lo. She was here, but now she's gone. Hey, lottie, lottie, lo. Animal House. I wake to a nightmare. Vision blurred by camera flash. My cries merely beckon more monsters in men's clothing. My wrists and ankles bound by their rage. I'm trapped like a mouse, foolishly believing in cheese. I look deep into their sharp, dead eyes. Tears flood mine. Please stop. Oh, merciful Lord, I beg you, please make them stop. Another prayer, unanswered. He's done. He's won. Now's my chance to run before another takes the plunge. I escape, bury myself in a blanket, alone here with my shame, not enough pills to numb the pain. 30 years later, I remember, but can barely utter his name. So to answer the proverbial question, what I was wearing. Pink sheet twisted into a toga over a white one-piece swimsuit. Pink chiffon bow in my hair. Nana's rhinestone dangly earrings. Pink lace fingerless gloves. Silver glittery sandals. A spritz of Giorgio. Frosted mulberry lipstick. And a big smile. This is what I wore to the party. And then I woke up to a strap falling off one shoulder, the other strap cut, revealing my breast, a drop of blood where the knife nicked my flesh, the crotch of my swimsuit sliced in half, spilled beer, stained sheet, the scent of cheap cologne, 4 sets of fingerprints. This is what I wore running home. To call or not call the police. That is a monumental decision for this young woman whose lips have kissed bottles of Boone's Farm and Budweiser, ever clear of the laws she was broken, partying and partaking before reaching legal age on this side of the state line. In the heartland, where girls are taught to play hard to get, and boys will be boys, how could she prove to the good old boys in blue that she's not the one to blame? She's not a slut, and she definitely did not ask for it. Dial tone. Payphone. Down the hall. No privacy. Must wait for the right moment. It's quiet and dark. Call now. Fingers tremble, hovering atop silver buttons. Just 3 numbers. Come on. You can do this. 9 1 1. 911. What's your emergency? Hello? Hello? Dial tone. I whisper. Please. Help me. So when I failed to call the police, I shut down. I didn't want anyone to know what happened, not even my best friend. I simply wanted to disappear forever. Luckily, I failed at that too. How to survive suicide. Don't leave a note. Your final plea for help may bring unwanted advice. Make a mixtape. Translation, playlist. Let your favorite songs be your final lullaby. Be frugal. Buy the generic sleeping pills. Believe the compare to claims on the label. Speaking of labels, ignore those dosing instructions. Indulge. Gluttony is a mere second-rate sin. Wash the pills down with a yoo-hoo. No need to count calories now. Double-check the deadbolt. Laugh at the irony of that particular oxymoron. Turn out the lights. Snuggle under your grandmother's quilt and whisper apologies until you're fast asleep. Wake up 35 hours later and wonder if anyone noticed you were gone. So one of the hardest things, there's so many hard things, but one thing that's hard to, when you're trying to forget or get over it, is dealing with the guilt. I had so much guilt because I didn't report it. And I worried about how many other girls were hurt because I wasn't brave enough to step forward. And so this next piece is actually something that I wrote that brings me comfort when I go there. And it's called Saving Maggie, and the name's been changed. I survived the rape and the failed suicide. Haunted by my secret, I tried to act normal. Finals were approaching, so my sorority sisters and I turned the lounge into a study hall. We prepped for exams and shared notes, but mostly we gabbed about the upcoming sorority spring formal, hoping the boys we liked would accept our invitation. Maggie burst into the room. She had big news. Brad had just agreed to be her date for the Alpha Z dinners. After all the commotion, oh my God, he's so dreamy. What are you going to wear? I could do your hair and makeup. Do you think he'll pick you up in a limo? I whisper in Maggie's ear, can we talk? Maggie was a sweet, shy girl who didn't date often. She was a straight-A student, lettered in softball, and was the kind of girl who would go out of her way to help a friend in need, no matter what. I had to step up. I had to warn her. Maggie didn't go to the dance with Brad. She didn't go to the dance with anyone. It would have been fun helping her pick out a formal. Her favorite color was peach. But at least no one ever asked her after her. But she was not. So as I continued to write these poems, I decided to build the book around that question. What was she wearing? It is probably one of the cruelest questions ever. And yet, it seems to be one of the first things people say when they hear about a rape. So I decided to tackle this question in a variety of ways, including the next two poems. The first poem speaks from the perspective of the toga, in the toga's voice. And in the second poem, I used a song-like rhyming form known as a rondeau, which kind of created a contrast between the ugliness of the event and the playfulness of the form, which represents my innocence and naivete. So here's the first one. I am what she was wearing. I don't understand all the fuss. Measure for measure, I'm merely a wide bolt of cotton fabric. Nothing fancy, except for that thin row of lace adorning the top edge. She had to do all the work, twisting, contorting me into something wearable. As I compare myself to the other togas, I have to say, damn, I look fine. What? You don't think a sheik has body-shaming issues or feelings of envy? We all do. There's no escaping it. You keep up with the Joneses while we gossip over thread counts and wrinkles. Sorry, I digress. Must be from a lack of sleep. She kept me out late last night, way past my bedtime. Something bad happened? My memory is a bit foggy. This morning I found myself crumpled in the corner, smelling of beer and slow gin, wrinkled and wet and torn and dirty. I suppose now I'll be the one blamed. And here's the rondeau. A toga she wore. A toga she wore like never before, a sheet she bought from the corner store, pretty in pink and trimmed in white lace, rhinestone earrings that framed her face. A neck braid from typical togas of yore. Together they danced and danced some more. She had no idea what was in store when he invited her to his place. A toga she wore. A drug in her drink, the one he had poured, held down by the others, in all there were four. If only she had a spray can of mace, struggling for freedom, she spat in his face. Instead of pretty, she felt like a whore, a toga. It was a toga she wore. So years go by. Still haven't told anybody. And I'm married with 3 little kids living in Georgia. Life is crazy busy, and I'm not really thinking about the rape much anymore. And then out of the blue, on a visit back home, this happened. The day I saw my rapist at the corner of Texaco, I remember holding the fuel nozzle in my hand, staring at him for what seemed an eternity. I was bisected, half of me desperate to spray gasoline across the concrete divide and let him match, while the other half wanted to peel away my skin to swap with another human to hide. My babies, all 3 of them lined up in their car seats in the back seat of my Honda. 2 little girls, peacefully asleep, while their brother pointed his chubby finger at a ladybug on the windshield and laughed. So fast forward 15 more years, prepping my kids for college. I knew the day would come. The day I would have to let my secret out, tell my story. For ignorance is dangerous, not bliss. I'd have to make a hard choice. Remove my children's veil of invincibility. Make them understand. Rape isn't something that only happens to other people. Their heads bowed down like wilting roses. They reached for my trembling hand. We held each other. We cried. I felt my shame morph into courage. I didn't teach my daughters how to simply avoid rape that day. I didn't buy them a whistle. Instead, I taught my son the horrid ugliness of the crime against a woman, a girl, a mother, a sister. When I told their father about the talk, he asked me if I told them who I was with. That's why I left him. So things are really starting to bubble up to the surface again, and I'm compelled to keep writing. I start to examine the event from a variety of angles, including writing persona poems and the voice of my attackers. We are the BMOC, Big Men on Campus. Oh, come on, baby! We had fun tonight. Remember how we danced? How the DJ played Thriller and a crowd circled around us? You knew every dance move. Applause and cameras flashing. We were the hit of the party. Such a thrill. He didn't seem to mind the camera then. So why such a fuss? Why do you have to scream? I just wanted to take a few photos, pose you in your half-naked glory, show the guys how pretty you are. Everything would have been fine, but you had to make a scene. Who do you think you are, ripping out the film like that? Hey, Sam, can you believe what this bitch did? I think it's the time we teach her a lesson. Dick, Joe, you 2 hold her ankles. Sam, you take her hands. Wrap her wrists with that necktie hanging from my bedpost. She's still pretty groggy. We can each take a turn. There's no way she can fight against the 4 of us. You see, doll, these guys are my brothers. They would do anything for me. Anything. Make sure you remember that. No one will ever believe you. Have you ever gone onto Facebook and looked up an old boyfriend or somebody from your past and Maybe somebody that you shouldn't be looking at. Well, out of morbid curiosity, I admit, I try to find him on Facebook. And I find Brad. By the way, his nickname was Psycho. And I discover that he has a daughter in college, which leads to this one. Homecoming through the eyes of Brad. His daughter is riding in a float down Main Street. Her sisterhood embroidered in bright blue and gold, Greek letters across her chest. He's glad sororities don't haze pledges like his fraternity did. But he does worry about those secret ceremonies. How many stories from the past are shared by candlelight? He hasn't been sleeping well lately. The headlines have been whirling in his head. Will his past come back to haunt him too? I can't even remember that girl's name. She probably doesn't remember mine either. I don't believe she ever reported the incident. Did she tell anyone in her sorority? Now my daughter's new sorority? Did she ever tell anyone at all? Maybe I'll call Sam, Dick, and Joe. Reminisce over a few brewskis. Make sure we have our stories straight. Just in case. So when Dr. Blasey Ford, bless this woman, shared her truth during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, I couldn't help but wonder, what if? The victim speaks up of how I imagine a trial had I the courage back then. I realize the risk. I may be held in contempt, cuffed, locked away. I'm already quite familiar how restraint feels against my will. My question, Your Honor, you in the black robe, perched high up on your bench, do you know how it feels? Do you know the taste of betrayal, bitter, iron, rust, from a man you labeled friend? How his fingers tightening around your wrist, nails piercing flesh, felt more frightening, more rigid than cold steel cuffs ever could. Or how sound slips away, your own voice stifled, as he calls for help, to hold you down. Suddenly, the Me Too movement is picking up steam, and women from all walks of life begin sharing their truth. So when putting this book together, I just didn't want to share the ugly facts of what had happened. I wanted to give other women hope and share the process of healing, and to say, yes, this happened. Yes, this is ugly. And yes, it's been difficult. But no. This heinous act does not get to control me or my life. And so I'm going to end with the final poem that's in the book. There will be days. A trigger will transport you where you didn't plan to go. Scent of juniper wafting from your in-laws' hedge while visiting their mountain home. You recall gin is made from juniper berries, which reminds you of slow gin. And then you remember the smell of his breath. The accidental scrape of fingernail against a crisp white linen tablecloth elicits synaptic electricity, a snap. And suddenly, it's your fingernail scraping a bedsheet, clawing the dark, trying to escape. Careless whisper plays on the car radio, and as much as you love George Michael, you change the station. This song, a painful reminder of that empty bottle of sleeping pills and the belief you're never going to dance again. that there will be many days when happiness persists. The wonder in your son's eyes, meeting his twin baby sisters, how he slips into that big brother role in an instant, picking up a baby bottle to help with the feeding, and you kiss his tiny blonde head. Or the cleverness of two little girls the night they moved a full-size mattress into the hallway outside your bedroom. Perhaps to be closer to you. Oh, I have so many stories. Perhaps to be closer to you. Perhaps to prove that they can. You trip over the mess, ready to scold them. Their giggles so contagious you can't help but join the laughter. There will be home runs, blue ribbons, birthdays, family reunions, weddings, graduations, school plays, prom dresses, soccer games, old friends, new friends, celebrations, new jobs, new houses, promotions, new dreams, new life, new love. And through it all, you will rediscover yourself, your purpose, your essence, your sexuality, and finally realize how beautiful you are, how strong you always have been, and how to accept love from a man who never once asked what you were wearing. And that's this guy right here.